And of course, here in Western New York, we are, of course, very familiar with Kathy Hochul, who we have seen in the political arena since the 1990s.
But when it comes to the rest of the state, especially downstate, she may be a bit of a blank page for some, as politicians they just don't know that much about. Well, Channel 2's Ron Plants looked into that unknown factor with a key poll that just came out today. What's that about, Ron?
Well, Scott and Mary Alice, the woman who is soon to be our governor and who again announced she will definitely run for her own term next year as governor of New York, has a lot of work to do in the view of some pollsters and political analysts as she seeks statewide support to win. Today, it's the Marist poll. They put out their survey of state residents from August 4th through the 10th before her press conference yesterday and her media tour. And it says, though, that 64% of New Yorkers never heard of her or are not sure how to rate her performance. And for Democrats specifically, 55% don't really have an opinion on her yet. So some political analysts feel that after visiting all the state's counties, meeting people all over as she said she did, and supporting the Cuomo administration's policies as lieutenant governor, she must work now to convince people downstate, especially those in New York City, that she can be their governor as well, instead of just a Western New York politician. Do you think there could be some people that feel she doesn't understand what it's like to be a native New York City person as opposed to somebody from Buffalo up here in the rural area?
I think that's possible. I think she can get around that. I don't think that's an insurmountable obstacle. I think a good example model that she can look at is Kirsten Gillibrand. Right. When she was appointed senator, she was a relatively conservative upstate Democrat in Congress, and she very quickly made it clear that her policy preferences were in sync with Democrats, liberal Democrats, progressive Democrats.
Now, Feldman, who was on Long Island, says Hochul may have to convince New York City residents, for example, she's going to find a fix for their mass transit issues with the MTA, the subway and what have you, which he says was really a political football between Governor Cuomo and Mayor de Blasio in New York City. And Hochul may have to quickly figure out her own policy ideas, which she said she'll do with a vision speech soon, and budget priorities with perhaps more of a downstate focus if she hopes to fend off some of the other Democratic primary challengers next year. In the Information Center, Ron Plants, Channel 2 News.